The London Life, A Tale of Two Gentlemen. The year is 1821. America is barely a generation past its Revolutionary War, still finding its footing. But across the Atlantic, London is in the grip of the Regency era, a time of dandyism, social satire, and high-low culture collision. It is here that the original Tom and Jerry was born, not as cartoon animals, but as Corinthian Tom and Jerry Hawthorne, Esquire, two human protagonists of the massive literary sensation Life in London, or the day and night scenes of Jerry Hawthorne, Esquire, and his elegant friend Corinthian Tom, accompanied by Bob Logic, the Oxonian, in their rambles and sprees through the metropolis. The book, written by the sporting journalist Pierce Egan, was an absolute phenomenon. It wasn't just a story, it was a gritty, voyeuristic guidebook. It followed the fashionable Tom, a seasoned man about town, as he escorted the innocent country squire, Jerry, and their perpetually drunk intellectual friend, Bob Logic, on a tour of the city's most scandalous and thrilling locations. The appeal to the 19th century reader was the stark contrast. The book was a literary roller coaster. One chapter might find Tom and Jerry dressed in the finest silks, mingling with royalty in the exclusive Panton Street saloon. The next would plunge them into the squalor of a notorious slum, witnessing a brutal boxing match or escaping a police raid on a disreputable cavern. They were the ultimate thrill seekers, the it boys of their time, and their names became an immediate catchphrase for any duo engaged in a wild escapade. To be out with Tom and Jerry meant you were out for trouble, adventure, and probable intoxication. The power of the Tom and Jerry did not stop with massive literary success. It was a surefire bestseller year after year, sometimes outselling books by and about the very novelists Pierce Egan had inspired. The idea was so magnificently vile, it rivaled the best-selling books of the time, including William Jelly's epic 19th century Western. Crossing the Pond, from literary sensation to stage hit. The cultural impact of Tom and Jerry was so vast that it launched 1,000 imitators. It spawned fashion trends, slang dictionaries to understand the book's elaborate terminology, and most critically, for the American story, a smash hit stage adaptation by William Thomas Moncrief. It was this play, Tom and Jerry, or Life in London, which began its journey across the Atlantic almost immediately. The American audience, hungry for a glimpse into the sophisticated and often depraved high life of Europe, devoured the story. The stage show, full of songs, dances, and dramatic scene changes depicting the famous London haunts, toured major U.S. cities. The names Tom and Jerry became cemented in the American lexicon, not just as a pair of friends, but as a universal symbol of high-spirited mischief and camaraderie through chaos. A perfect mirror for the burgeoning, fast-paced, and often lawless American city culture of the 1830s and 40s. The Cocktail Conspiracy, Professor Jerry Thomas enters the scene. The true incredible pivot from cultural slang to a specific, tangible object occurs with the arrival of the man known as Professor Jerry Thomas. Born in New York in the 1830s, Thomas was an American legend, arguably the father of American mixology. He was flashy, known for juggling bottles, wearing diamond-studded jewelry, and traveling the world to study cocktail techniques. In 1862, he published Bartender's Guide, the first-ever cocktail book published in the United States, which codified many of the drinks we know today. In this seminal work, Thomas includes a recipe for an immensely popular, seasonal, and extremely potent drink, the Tom and Jerry. This is the astonishing concrete link. The professor, whose first name was literally Jerry, claimed to have invented the drink, naming it after two pet white mice he kept. While this story is charming, historians overwhelmingly believe he simply popularized and codified the recipe for a holiday eggnog-like punch that already existed in American bars, likely brought over by British immigrants, and named after the famous rowdy literary figures. The logic was clear. You drink a Tom and Jerry when you're looking for an all-night spree of the kind the fictional characters were famous for. The real danger in the glass. For decades, the Tom and Jerry cocktail was a staple of American winter parties, especially in the Midwest and Northeast. The drink was not light. Its traditional preparation involved a rich batter of beaten eggs, sugar and spices, nutmeg, cinnamon, and cloves. Pouring scalding hot milk or water over the batter, adding a terrifyingly generous pour of dark rum and/or brandy, sometimes both, garnishing with freshly grated nutmeg. This cocktail was a potent vehicle for high-proof liquor, designed to warm you on a frigid night and guaranteed to lead to the kind of rambles and sprees the original characters loved. The real Tom and Jerry wasn't a cartoon cat and mouse. It was a warm, deadly mix of Christmas cheer and colonial spirit that fueled the American impulse for rowdy, no bars barred celebration. The phrase Tom and Jerry was now triple layered in the U.S. consciousness. The literary rascals, the stage play, and the highly alcoholic holiday punch. The Hollywood grand finale, Hanna-Barbera and the name contest. Fast forward over a century to the late 1930s in Hollywood. William Hanna and Joseph Barbera are young animators at Metro-Goldwyn-Magnum Studios. They desperately need a hit. Their first attempt at a cat-and-mouse short, Puss Gets the Boot, 1940, featured a cat named Jasper and a mouse the crew called Jinx. The short was a surprise success and was nominated for an Academy Award. Studio executives now demanded a series, but they hated the names Jasper and Jinx. They needed something punchier, something that captured the essence of an eternal, playful conflict. So, MGM held a studio-wide contest to rename the characters. And who won the $50 prize? An animator named John Carr. His winning suggestion was Tom and Jerry. Carr, like countless Americans, pulled the name from the existing deep-rooted cultural well. He wasn't thinking of a cat and mouse. He was referencing the notorious London adventurers and the famous raucous American cocktail. He was selecting the ultimate shorthand for a chaotic, fun, and unstoppable conflict. Hanna-Barbera instantly loved the names. They kept the visual slapstick of the original Jasper and Jinx, but they gave them a title that held a century of historical baggage. The names of gentlemen who lived life with excessive enthusiasm, who ran from the law, and who were perpetually caught between high society refinement and lowbrow anarchy. The cartoon, with its sophisticated music and cinematic violence, was a perfect match for a name that already signified a timeless, often brutal, high-stakes duel. From 1940 onward, the riotous Regency Rascals and the dangerous Christmas Cocktail were slowly overwritten by the iconic Cat and Mouse, eternalizing the names Tom and Jerry in a new, sanitized, and animated form. The next time a U.S. audience watches Tom evade a frying pan, they aren't just watching a cartoon. They are watching a spiritual successor to a 19th century riot, a literary sensation, and the most notorious Christmas drink in American history. It is a real-life historical heist where a cat and a mouse stole the legendary name of two human daredevils, forever bottling the spirit of pure, glorious chaos.